Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a new 30 to 40 hour turn-based RPG coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has all the makings of a 2000s era Final Fantasy game from Square Enix. A turn-based combat system? Check. A surreal fantasy setting? Check. A cast of colorful young adults whose mission it is to save the world? Check. But the thing is, Expedition 33 is not a JRPG from Square. Instead, it's a debut effort of Sandfall Interactive, a relatively small French studio founded in 2020. And what a debut it is. I went into the game almost completely blind, knowing little to nothing about it except that it's a turn-based RPG. And as I was playing it, I wasn't just surprised by the game's unique combat and story. I was captivated, and I think you'll have the same experience. So let's talk about those two things. First is combat. Expedition 33 features a turn-based combat system that incorporates real-time action mechanics. Much of the combat, for me, is reminiscent of Persona 5, from the actual interface to having the ability to pull off ranged attacks on your enemies. And those ranged attacks can be freely aimed using the analog stick to target enemy weak points. But unlike in Persona, you can dodge and parry your enemy's attacks here by pressing the proper input just as your enemy is about to hit you. The timing window for these inputs, however, is closer to Souls games than, say, Paper Mario, so they can be rather challenging to nail. They definitely put my reflexes to the test. It's worth pointing out that the timing window for dodging is also larger compared to parrying, since the latter can lead to a counterattack that damages your enemies. What I think might put off turn-based purists is that these mechanics aren't optional. Enemies hit hard, and if you don't dodge or parry their attacks, they can wipe out your whole party in 2 or 3 turns. Successful dodges and parries also net you action points, which are essentially the currency of combat. You consume action points to perform your hard-hitting, high-damage skills, and the only other way to refill them, apart from dodging or parrying, is through standard attacks. So again, dodging and parrying is very essential to combat. Initially, I wasn't a fan of the real-time mechanics either. It can be a struggle to nail the timing windows of attacks, especially for enemies you're encountering for the first time. Some have long wind-up animations designed to catch you off guard, while others can perform attack combos that require you to dodge or parry multiple times in a row. However, as I spent more time in combat, everything just started clicking, albeit rather slowly. But after that point, I was able to enjoy the combat more, and dodging and parrying became so much more satisfying to pull off. Each party member also has their own combat mechanic that's unique to them. The game's main protagonist, Gustav, for example, can build up charges until he can unleash an electrical attack that deals a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the more magic-focused Lune can leave elemental stains on enemies every time she attacks. These stains can then be consumed by your other skills for extra damage. Mayel, on the other hand, has 3 combat stances, each of which give her different stat bonuses, and you activate and switch between stances by using her skills. I love these character-specific mechanics because they make the combat so much more strategic. They add so much weight to your moment-to-moment decisions and require you to plan your turns properly to optimize your party's effectiveness. Outside of combat, you can explore the continent, which is the game's central setting. Maps, however, aren't very big. They're mostly linear, in fact. After all, Expedition 33 is not an open-world game. You do find valuable equipment and resources from roaming the map, which makes exploration so much more rewarding. Moreover, there's no shortage of gorgeous sights and landscapes to behold in the continent. Almost every corner of the game's world, whether you're roaming a forest or the site of an underwater shipwreck, is rendered in incredible detail. So much so that I found myself stopping to take everything in first, before proceeding. Like in Souls games, you'll also find campfires scattered around Expedition 33's map. These function like checkpoints, where you can rest to restore your health, refill your consumables, and upgrade your character's stats and skills. Now, let's talk about the game's story. Ideally, you'd want to play Expedition 33 knowing as little as possible, as I think uncovering the mysteries central to the game's story is a large part of the overall experience. Then again, I do want to share the premise to set your expectations and get you a bit more acquainted with the game. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is set in some alternate universe Belle Epoque France, where once a year, a mysterious figure known as the Paintress paints a number upon her monolith. And on that day, everyone of that age fades to dust. Of course, year by year, more and more people go poof. So to try and break that cycle, each year a group of volunteer expeditioners with only 1 year left to live embark on a desperate quest to the continent to kill the Paintress. As far as RPG premises go, I think this is one of the better ones. It's a high concept premise that's both intriguing and weird at the same time. The mystery of it all pulls you in, but you later realize that it's a complex and nuanced characters that make the story more engaging. And that's largely thanks to the terrific voice performances from well-known names like Charlie Cox, who's best known for playing Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil in the MCU, and Andy Serkis, who's best known for playing Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's just a shame that the game suffers from terrible lip syncing in both pre-rendered and in-engine cutscenes, which can at times ruin your immersion. I don't know if the issue stems from the cutscenes not being originally rendered in the English language. Regardless, it's an issue that's hard to overlook. Truthfully, I went into Clair Obscur Expedition 33 with almost zero expectations. I thought it's just another mid-budget game I'd play and forget. But what I found is an ambitious game with a refreshingly new and challenging take on turn-based combat and a captivating story about relationships and death. It's not a game for everyone. I know most hardcore turn-based RPG fans won't enjoy the real-time action mechanics. However, if you're a Souls fan or someone who doesn't mind putting its reflexes to the test, you should give this game a look. And that's my review. You can check out Clair Obscur Expedition 33 when it comes out on April 24, 2025.